Good evening and welcome everyone to the first in-person meeting of the 2021 year. I will first make a motion to open the meeting.
I'll make the motion.
Second. All in favor? Aye. Very good. Let's say a pledge to allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands.
Everyone else has left the call.
All right, then, well, we have two introductions to make tonight. We have our new commissioner, Paul Radalone, who was elected, making his first public appearance, and our new fire district secretary, Isang Smith. So thank you both for coming aboard and your great additions. So Jamie, treasurer's report.
Okay, so for the treasurer's report, we're looking at the financials through April 30th. We currently have a net budget surplus of approximately $900,000. This is a little bit higher than where we normally are at this time of year. But again, you know, as it is when we look month to month, it's typically just driven by timing of certain expenses that haven't hit yet. But otherwise, as far as year end, you know, we closed out 2020. We had our auditors in last month to prepare our financial statements. We filed our annual update document with the comptroller's office. And we are just waiting on draft copies of our financial statements for review. I expect we'll have them next week. And then we have a few additional documents left to provide to the auditors, predominantly related to board minute meetings and transcripts. And then they'll be able to release our financials. So I expect, hopefully by the end of this month, we'll be able to have our audited financial statements complete. At that time, they're available for the public via FOIL, or there's copies in the offices if anyone is interested in reviewing the financials. We expect to receive our share of taxes from the town next week. I just heard from them today to confirm wire information, so we should get our money early next week. Unlike last year, it seems like we're on track to receive 100% of the funds at once, which is what we typically are used to, so that's good news. And then we got through our property casualty insurance renewal, and I'm just reminding the board that our PERMA, or our workers' comp renewal, is coming up. That policy expires on July 1st. So I've already been in contact with our broker to provide whatever information they need for the renewal process. You know, letting them know we'd like the quote as early as possible. This is a year that we go out for bid, so they will be reaching out to other workers' comp carriers to see if they want to bid on our account. I will say the last time we went through this with workers' comp, there's two other firms that they go to. They had declined to bid at that time. So we'll see. Our premium has gone down pretty significantly the last 2 years. We paid approximately $275,000 for this last plan year. That's obviously based on good experience ratings that we have had. So I remember the last time around, the other carrier said they couldn't compete with the price that PERMA was giving us, and obviously PERMA is looking to retain us. So we'll see what they come up with. As I said, I did ask them to provide the quotes as soon as possible, but typically, you know, we get them just about 30 days prior to the policy expiring. So as soon as I have them, they'll be in the commissioner's hands. And that's all I have for the treasurer's report.
Okay, excellent. And of course, Jamie, our treasurer, has supplied us with the warrants. The board has been supplied with 2 sets of bills and vouchers and a credit card bill for the board approval. Chief Tween has reviewed all prior to this meeting except the ciatoria claims and those specifically marked as reviewed by the treasurer. The treasurer has requested the board approve the following. Warrant 1, dated today, May 6, 2021, for $348,426.25. And warrant 2, same date, $28,000, $326.96. And the credit card dated 4/18/20. No, that can't be right. Okay, well, we're going to say dated 5/6/21 for $988.26 for a total of $377,741 I'm sorry, yeah, $377,741.47. A motion is made by Commissioner Rhodes to pay the bills and vouchers as presented, which was seconded by Commissioner
I'll second it.
Randallone. The chairman pulls the, Commissioner Randallone?
Aye.
Commissioner Carlo?
Aye.
Commissioner Raven? Aye. Commissioner Roach is an aye. So the bills are paid. I've checked these vouchers electronically, so I'll put my initial here and let all the other members of the board do the same. So Chief's report. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Let me start off by welcoming Commissioner Randallone to the board as well, and Isang. We've been working together a few weeks. It seems like a nice fit, so good luck to you and welcome to the district. I combined the March and April Chiefs reports. March alarm activity was 269 alarms, 7 fire-related, 157 EMS or rescue, 1 mutual aid given to the city of Mount Vernon. The April alarm activity was 248 alarms, 4 fire-related, 150 EMS or rescue, and no mutual aid given or received in the month of April. The damaged shop garage door has been ordered through Deegan Door and will take another 4 to 6 weeks to get the panels. We had 2 quotes and our insurance company was able to negotiate a lower price with Deegan Door, so we placed the order. Unfortunately, there's quite a lead time to get the doors, so hopefully we can get that replaced soon. Tim Dalton's been very busy with several projects. His weekly reports were emailed to the board on April 21st and May 6th today. Vehicle maintenance continues through the use of our outside vendors, and fire prevention and code enforcement activities continue with plan reviews, inspections, and their reports for March and April were emailed to the board on April 7th and May 5th. Currently, 6 members are out on long-term absence. 1 member continues to work on restricted duty. About every 4 to 6 years, we get rated by the Insurance Services Organization, and it affects everybody's fire rates as what they pay for insurance. Not their whole homeowners, but just the fire portion of their insurance rates. So our rating was rated as a Class 2. That includes the water department, water supply, the dispatchers, 911 answering and dispatching the fire department, and also the fire department. So we were a Class 2 4 years ago or 5 years ago, and we maintain that Class 2 rating. I asked the insurance services what would it take to become a Class 1, and they said it's a pretty big leap up with staffing. The water company would have to step up a little bit on their maintaining the hydrants, and also they said there's only about 100 in the whole country of Class 1 fire departments. So for now, we're stayed level, so I'm happy with that. If we want to shoot for a Class 1, we could talk about that. I asked the board to approve the annual radio maintenance contract with ESS. It's an annual cost of $10,380. Commissioner Roche prior had asked for a breakdown of the labor costs with and without a maintenance agreement, and also the cost of just the preventative maintenance alone, and that was $3,638.40. Should we choose not to have the maintenance agreement, we will not have 24 hours a day, 7 days per week service available, and most of the labor costs are higher without the maintenance agreement. So again, I would recommend that we do as we've done in the past and keep the maintenance agreement, but that'll be a board decision. The Eastchester Community Action Program is holding a career day on Friday, May 28th, from 4 to 5 p.m. We'll be sending an apparatus with a lieutenant and a firefighter to accommodate their event. And I just asked the board if they have any consideration on moving forward with the electrical or HVAC RFPs that we received. So that's the end of my report.
Thank you, Chief.
Okay?
All right, so do we want to address, I didn't quite understand what you said last.
Can I take a mask?
Yeah, please.
Okay.
I think it was about Chester Heights, but I wasn't even sure.
No, the RFPs were for electrical work that Commissioner Rabin drew up, and we received back two replies for the electrical work, but one contractor broke it down into new work and repairs. So actually, one contractor is cheaper for new work, and then another contractor is cheaper for repairs. So I don't know
think
if,
that's the way to go.
But we can approve both of them as is.
Right.
And use them however we want. That's the way the RFP is written, so.
Sure.
If you have both of their contact information or whatever, we can approve, the board sees fit, you can approve both of them and not have to pick one or the other. You can take them both and use them however you want. That's the point of the RFP.
I mean, I'd emailed it to the board prior on April 16th. I brought hard copies, although they come out kind of small print. It breaks down the hourly rates. And we also had 4 HVAC responses. And the lowest one, we asked them to break it down, normal business hours, Monday to Friday, 8 to 5, Monday to Friday after 5 p.m., and then Saturday and Sunday. So they had to break down their labor costs for each of those things. And Crown AC Heat and Power of Yonkers, New York, was the cheapest in every one of those categories. So, you know,
Yeah.
again, we got these RFPs back a few months ago, and it's the time of year where we're actually using those services. So if we could, I'd like to take advantage of them. If anybody needs to see the breakdowns that I had sent out prior,
Yeah.
I have
Chief,
hard
could you-
copies.
I'm sorry, can you give them?
And
you know what,
I thought I saw in the bills, give it to Stu. I thought I saw in the bills that there was some HVAC work being done.
A heater or boiler that was broken, and we had AMAC come and do it because we had traditionally used them.
Okay. That's fine, Chief. I just thought it was the work you were planning for. All right, so yeah. The reason why I'm running, excuse me?
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Is we keep getting everything the last minute, you know, I got your report, an hour ago, and I'm sitting there trying to absorb it all. We have to be more expedient in moving this stuff along. I understand you've talked
April
about this quite
16th was
long.
when it was sent to the board. I mean, I'm trying to accommodate your request.
Thank you.
And that's why I send it out.
Thank
But
you,
if I don't
Chief.
send it out a few days
Stu,
before the
are you
meeting-
ready to make a resolution?
I'll tell you what, I would make a resolution to award the electrical, but I would want to wait one meeting to award the HVAC.
Okay.
The only reason why is this, the board really should take the time to review those RFPs, because we really shouldn't have more than one HVAC person working on all these units, because they cross over work all the time, who did this, who did that. Electrical, there's a lot more ways to get around it, there's different houses and stuff like that. My personal preference would be award the electricals, as all of them, and the chief and Tim can use them as he sees fit, and if the chief's so inclined, wait for the HVAC for either for the next meeting, and give us a chance to look through that. That's my own opinion.
Okay,
If somebody wants to make a motion to award it, please go ahead, but that's what I would say.
And you said the HVAC Crown was superior all the way through.
Yeah, the amounts of money are different, but I think the board should still have a conversation.
Okay, good, so then we will. All right, so if you make a motion.
Yeah, I would
for
make
the electric-
a motion to award the RFP regarding the electrical to both Acorn Electrical Contractors LLC of Bethel, Connecticut, and also Nick's Electrical Services of 48 Grand Street, New Rochelle, New York, based upon the rates submitted in that award. And there's money already appropriated in the operating budget to cover these costs.
Right, so Nick's Electrical would be for repair work
It would
because
be
he
for
was.
anything.
Yeah.
No, he was significantly more expensive for.
But that's right, it
reconstruction.
would be the chief's
Oh.
prerogative. We're awarding it all, and the chief and
My
Tim
mistake.
will
I
just go ahead
apologize.
and use their pricing as to what's beneficial for the district.
Okay.
I will second that motion, and now we'll pull Commissioner Ranalone?
Aye.
Commissioner Carlo?
Aye.
Commissioner Raven?
Aye.
And Commissioner Roach is an aye. So you have the electrical. We'll review the HVAC and bring that up next meeting.
Okay. Anything on the radio maintenance agreement that expired April 1st?
Well, we paid for it last July. Would we pay for the 3 months that we didn't have it?
They grandfathered us in. They offered us a service, so.
Here's what I think of the electrical, chief. This is my complete, honest opinion of how we should do that. Either we could pay $10,800. I thought it was $3,300 for the preventive maintenance, but you just said $3,600. Well, we'll go with that number. I would rather do the preventive maintenance 3 times a year, every 4 months. This way we have it. We have a technician coming over. He's getting familiar with our equipment. The last time the technician came over, that's how we found out there was something wrong, and we got it fixed. So rather than have them pay $7,000 or over $7,000 for a maintenance agreement, so they'll be here in 24 hours, which I believe they will be anyhow, 48 the most if it was a Sunday, let's just have them keep coming.
No, it's not that they'll be here within 24 hours, it's that they will respond 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So if it's 3 o'clock in the morning on a Friday, or Saturday morning at 3 a.m., they probably won't come out till Monday or Tuesday. Like, they're going to schedule us. It's not going to be an emergency response, which is the type of service we get now.
Does anyone want to make the resolution for the chief to get the preventive maintenance with the protection plan?
That's a 10,003, 10,008?
Or 10,000?
10,380 would be the total.
I am fine with that, so I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
I just want to understand, what's the issue that I'm missing? Maybe I'm not understanding your point.
Okay, the preventive maintenance portion of the contract is like $3,600. To add the immediate response portion is another $7,000.
Right.
I'm saying I'd rather just have them come every 4 months, spend the same amount of money, and have our equipment in better care.
But
And I think they'll be more familiar with
Can
it.
I ask, though, like the chief just said, and I've never had to stay in a firehouse myself, but what happens if, this is the radios, right, for responding, right?
It's our dispatch radios, it's the
Right.
mobile radios in the
So
rigs.
what happens if
it's-
the radios
it's
go down
contacting the
in the
county.
morning
It's
and-
all our radios.
They can't get the calls in because they can't get somebody in to fix them in the middle of
He
the night?
calls the company and they come.
2 days later.
Right, well, that's,
Possibly, I
They'll-
doubt
they'll
it. They
schedule
have a guy on call 24 hours. If Mamaroneck, I'm using them by an example, please don't hold me to it, are using this, and they have a radio issue the same time we do, yes, they'll get preference. If another company doesn't have a radio issue, they're just gonna come to us.
But it's also
listen.
that
So if we pay 10,380 now, or we pay quarterly or whenever they come, it's not going to be a $7,000 difference. It's going to be, how much?
Same amount of money, they'll just have come twice as much.
No,
3 times as much.
the labor costs are more expensive if you don't have a
If something
plan.
broken.
So you would get the Westchester County
I
contract.
understand, Chief. This is just my opinion.
Okay.
I proposed a
Yeah,
resolution.
so-
It was made, it was second.
Yeah.
It's up to Stu.
I feel, Tom, I feel like we should just pay it and just let it go. I do. I just feel like it's better for us.
There it is.
Yeah.
It's passed. I'm going to abstain. So you have that. Very good. September class. Paul?
Yeah, I want to get lined up and get ready to send people to the academy. I think we're going to have some missing members in a few months, and I think we need to get ready for it. We can't rely on another session of being short. We're short now as it is. It's only going to get worse.
Yeah, the CPAT is going to be given on, June 20, Friday, June 25th, and Saturday, June 26th. And there's an orientation for that on Friday, May 14th, and Saturday, May 15th, at 9 o'clock at the Department of Emergency Services up in Valhalla. So I think I know we have some people who already have CPAT, but I think it might be a good idea to make sure that at least all the hundreds have gotten it, those who haven't gotten it will get it. And if we believe that come the fall, we may have possibly a half a dozen openings by then, depending on, retirements and such, that maybe we should also have the people with 95s go take the CPAT also. It doesn't cost the department any money, and the CPAT is good for a year or two, 2 years.
And
Are we-
also, that one in June is not a CPAT, it's a time practice. So there's an orientation in May.
Okay.
There's a time practice in June. The actual CPAT is in July 26th or 29th, whatever we said. And the candidates can skip the May and the June one if they sign a waiver, but it's helpful for them to pass it if they're able to take the practice at least.
Yes.
So,
Yeah, July 31st, yeah, okay. So what I would like to do is make a motion that we have the secretary send notices to people with 100 and the people with 95s, notifying them of the CPAT. So if they want to get hired, they have to have that.
If I can before that. Chief, how many spots do we have open right now? 6?
Technically, Jamie could answer that, because with civil service, it gets tricky.
You don't have 6 out. You have 6
No.
that are sick, but you don't have 6 that slots.
There's 3 retirements and
Right.
one person resigned to go to another department.
So 3, 4. So does that mean that the most we can send to CPAT is 8?
No, it would be 20.
Yeah, so we technically have 5 open spots with civil service, but only 4 of them are budgeted for. We had opened a position once before for CPAT purposes. So we have 4 open positions. Some are permanent, some are contingent permanent, but that doesn't really matter for this hiring, and yes, CPAT, they typically will allow you to send up to 5 people for each spot you have open. So we have, on our list, there are 7 people with a score of 100. 6 of them have CPAT, and it's good till the beginning of 2022. So there'd be 100 left on the list to offer CPAT to. And then I just pulled it up on my phone. It looks like there's 30 95s.
35, 95.
Yeah, it's something in that range. So you'd have to, choose amongst the 95s, and you could do that. We could request resumes. We could just do it, say the top, the way they're in order on the list. The board would have to choose how they would want to, but you'd have to narrow down the 95s, unless we ask civil service if they'd let you send them all. But I don't know.
I don't think they will, but the board would have to make that decision. How do you break down the people who are 95s, because you can't send them all?
Right, so what we did one other time was we had them all submit a resume, but first you canvass them, obviously, to see if they're all still interested, because some of them might defer, so that might narrow it down. You don't know, they might not live in town anymore or intend to live in town anymore. And then what we had them do one time was submit resumes, and the secretary and I redacted the resumes. The chief, picked the ones he liked the best, or the board could pick, however you want to do that. That's something we did in the past. We would obviously have to first make a formal request for the list from civil service. I just got a mock list to get a feel for what was on it, and then send out the canvas letter. So we would not do anything in time for orientation, because that's coming up next weekend. But like the chief said, they can elect to skip the orientation. That's what we did the last time around.
Yep.
So those are all options.
I thought there was more hundreds, Jamie. I thought we started with 1,400s.
We did, and some deferred, and it may be the case that there's hundreds that either got picked up by other districts, or they maybe didn't respond to a canvas letter from another jurisdiction, and they got taken off the list, because as of this week, there are only 7 left.
On the official Westchester
On the
County
official,
list.
yes, on our official list.
And it's not up to us to put anyone back on a list, it's up to themselves.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right, and no one's reached out to say, we did have someone actually, the last time around was off the list, and he in the interim had reached out and asked us, and, we put him in touch with civil service, but it's not up to us to, proactively reach out to anyone.
Thank you, Jamie.
So Chief, how do you feel? I mean, last time we did do the resume route after we got responses back from candidates who were interested.
Yeah, I thought that worked well, but it seems like the current board likes to have a hands-on approach, so we can do the same thing and let the board members go through the resumes, and you guys can decide that way. Because it's a blind resume, they remove the header and everything else, so,
Yeah.
it's just whatever that education and experience the person has. You don't have their name, you don't have their address, it's just the body of the resume.
Right.
And, it worked well for me, and, I like people with mechanical skills, because they can operate tools and use ladders and stuff, but there's other skills that are important too, so.
Yeah.
I'd be happy either way, if the board wanted to look through the resumes, or if you wanted me to select a handful.
Yeah, well, I think you know what you're doing. That's my opinion. But my question then is, just so I'm clear, when's the actual CPAT? This is just a training.
July 31st.
That's the actual CPAT.
Yeah, so if we started the process now, or in the near term, they'd make it to the practice and the actual CPAT.
That's fine. That's fine. We're only sending people to CPAT. That's all we're doing.
So then,
And we're not even going to choose any of the 95s. I mean, I'm not going to do anything, but there's 700s.
We're only
That's
able
all.
to
We're not even going to hire more than
95s
3 or
if
4.
we end up not having
If they
enough
do at all.
Good for 2 years, so
Yeah.
We could hit the 95.
You could hit the 95s by the end of next year, you know, in 2022.
They want to maintain themselves on the list, but they may be doing other things,
Yeah.
you know? So they may choose to back out at the actual offer of a job. That happens sometimes.
So, I mean, technically, I guess the motion should be amended to reflect that the board would send up to 20 people to CPAT, and that's all we're able to do at this point, is elect to send that many people, but we don't know how many hundreds or how many 95s. We're just opening it up for our range. That's all we can do.
Well, that 100 definitely has to go. He has to be given the opportunity.
Right, assuming,
Right,
yes,
it's just
he
a
has
matter
to.
of whether or not they go.
Exactly.
But we're opening it up for 20 slots that include all the hundreds. Yeah. So is that an
That's
approved amendment for you, Mr. Ranello?
Yes, that's fine.
I would second that. I would second that.
All right, so then I'll call the board. Commissioner Allen?
Aye.
Commissioner Carlo?
Aye.
Commissioner Raymond?
Aye.
And Commissioner Roach will abstain.
Okay, so then I will request the list, and then Isang and I will start the canvas process.
All right.
So, FOIL officer. With hiring a new fire district secretary, we are going to relieve Jamie, who has done a tremendous job for us all through 2020. Unbelievable. The fire district would have went to a standstill if Jamie didn't step up and do both jobs. And we're so happy that we were able to replace her. And now one more step. So freedom of information law policy. The below motion is to appoint, okay, I think that's a motion by Commissioner Roach to appoint Marissa E. Smith as Freedom of Information Law Public Records Access Officer for the remainder of 2021. Chief Brian Tween will remain as the FOIL Appeal Officer. Motion second by?
Second it.
By Commissioner Carlo. I'll call the board. Commissioner Alone?
Aye.
Commissioner Carlo?
Aye.
Commissioner Rabin? Aye. And Commissioner Roach is an aye. You are now our new FOIL officer, and just so you know, bigger print is great for me, and then I can actually read what I'm seeing. Thank you.
Noted.
Discussion to send, all right, well, this is my little baby. I think that we need extensive work in the Main Street Firehouse. The amount of work is just, cannot be done by renovations. We've done the other firehouses by renovation. Each one of them has caused their own little difficulties. They take forever. And it just so happens that New York State legislature just passed a $29 billion green initiative in their 2021 budget. And President Biden is pushing for an infrastructure stimulus plan. And he's also pushing for a green initiative. So I thought it would be appropriate for our district, the fire district, to write letters to our political officials, our elected officials that represent us in Washington and in Albany, and ask for their assistance. I sent the letter to all the members of the board. We have two ways to go. We can write one joint letter, or we could write individual letters. Does anyone have an opinion?
I like one joint letter.
Yeah, as I was writing mine, I think that is correct too. I know that Paul has shared with me some of his thoughts that I think could be incorporated.
One letter's fine.
One letter's fine. And so what would we do now? Do I make a resolution that the board do approve writing these letters, put them together, and then sending them out?
I think the resolution will be when the letter's done to the board to vote to send it so that the context is agreeable or amenable to everybody.
Okay, so then we'll just do the procedure. I was thinking that we would give
We
it.
could do that now, you know, and we could basically, I mean, we know what the information's supposed to be. You guys have put together all the big context of it. I think we know what it's about. I mean, I personally don't have a problem approving the letter and the information as is and allowing, empowering you to sign it on behalf of the board. as long as nothing changes in it as far as a different direction.
And like you said, it's going to go to the board, and then even probably our lawyer's office, they're going to all put it, after our fire district secretary puts it in professional form for us, and then at that point. But I guess you're right, if you want to make the resolution now, and
Sure, I have no problem.
and then I'll second it, we'll vote on it.
I'll
and
make a
then we'll-
resolution to take the letters crafted by Commissioner Ranalone and Chairman Roach and put it into fixed form and sending it off to whoever they see fit to make a case for the village, for the town and the fire district. Make that motion.
I'll second that motion, and I'll call board. Commissioner Ranalone?
It looks like no one else is going to join this call.
Commissioner Carlo is aye. Commissioner Rabin?
Aye.
And Commissioner Roach is aye. So that, we'll move that forward. I know you already have the letters. I've changed them a little bit, but we'll talk. Eastchester Community Action Program. Do you want to say a little bit what you've done in the past or what you're planning to do this year, and then the board will approve it?
Thank you. I did mention it in my report that we would be sending a lieutenant with a firefighter and an apparatus. In the past, Captain Pinaval is gone, but he has a family commitment and he's unavailable. He would usually go and, talk to the students or it's younger age, it said it's like a job fair, but it's, I think Isang found out that it's 7 to 13-year-olds. So not quite. We were thinking high school kids that could potentially join the fire department a little bit sooner than that. So it's kind of things we do all the time. We go to the schools, we go to the senior citizens up on Garth Road and Tuckahoe at Union Place. So I don't know that the board needs to make a resolution. We're not going to spend any money. If we want to give stuff to the kids, we have the plastic helmets for the younger kids, coloring books, stickers, things like that. So unless you had something that you wanted me to purchase, like, I don't know, pens or keychains or something, I know you put some money in the outreach program for this year, but this isn't really the age group that we're trying to target with that money, I believe, so.
Right. Any thoughts from the
I
commission?
think that's good, and handing
Okay.
that stuff out, unless the union wants to buy stuff for. But I think we're good.
So,
I think
okay,
that
yeah, so
material
we
is excellent.
we do these things all the time, and, it'll just be one more outreach thing that, that we do through the department.
Well, I think that's awesome when the department does that. It goes out into the community and makes themselves available. So thank you, Chief. All right, so the next one is, I don't know if I have that resolution. This is the volunteer exempt resolution.
That's the application, resolution, I'm not sure where that is.
All right, so Frank Mignardi was a longtime volunteer in the Eastchester Volunteers, and he has applied for an exempt certificate. Are there any special words that we have to say, or do I just make a resolution to vote, to give him this exempt certificate?
I know if I go to the microphone, I'll get in trouble with Mr. Norris, so I'll come back up here. On the last page of that, there's an index card showing the department file, showing his record. I think he put in over 15 years as an active volunteer, and the only requirement, I believe, is to be an active volunteer for 5 years in good standing. And he was also, I believe, one of the volunteer deputy chiefs. He rose up through the volunteer ranks to not the deputy chief, but I think he was one of the assistant volunteer deputy chiefs. So I can vouch that he would definitely put in 5 years of service to the district, more than 5 years of service to the district. So I think you just have to approve granting his exempt papers. I don't believe it costs us anything. Any benefits he gets comes out of the Volunteer Benevolent Association.
Thank you, Chief. All right, so I'll make a motion to approve this application for exempt certificate from Frank Mignardi. Can I have a second? And Commissioner Rabin second it. Commissioner Ranalone?
Aye.
Commissioner Carlo?
Aye.
Commissioner Rabin? Aye. And Commissioner Roach is an aye. So that exempt certificate application has been approved. Any other business?
How are we doing with the transfers?
The transfers we did the interviews, so that's, we interviewed 6 firefighters. There was a consensus of who we would choose, and at this point, we're waiting for the state to give us the certificate, to give us certification to make sure they've held adequate training according to our Eastchester Fire District needs and the needs of the state of New York. So it's on hold until we have that information. Thanks for asking, Paul.
Okay.
Anyone else? Local 916?
I'd like to welcome you all back after a long hiatus. Nice to see everyone in public. Looking forward to work with you again this year. Thank you for going forward with CPAT. It's something we're going to need. We're going to have at least 4 to 6 people out. I'm expecting a few more to retire this summer. I'd like to assure the public that we are socially distancing. The nearest public is probably a quarter mile from here tonight. And I'd like to welcome Commissioner Ranalone. You look somewhat familiar to me. I've probably seen you around town. But the one thing we do have, there's going to be a memorial mass this Saturday, May 8th, for firefighter Joe Lucci. He passed away 11 years ago, and the mass will be held at the Assumption Church at 4 p.m., and we encourage everyone to attend. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Commissioners, any commissioners have any report? So then I'll open it up to the public. Is there any comments from the public?
You're all turned off already.
Yeah, I believe it disconnected. It said nobody was on the call, and it didn't seem like anybody was,
Perfect.
so unless Mr. North wants to say something.
Do you have anything to say, Mr. North? No comment. Then I will make a motion to close the meeting.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor? Aye. Have a good evening, everyone.
Thank you.